Dear student teachers, I am very happy to meet all of you. Today we are going to learn a very important area in the field of English language teaching, that is communicative language teaching approach. Dear student teachers, you are all aware that the main purpose of teaching English is to develop communicative competence in our students. That means our students should be in the position to communicate intelligibly in English. That is the prime purpose of any language. Now, it is the high time to take care of this skill, that is communicative competence, to develop in our students. This is the aspiration of the parents, this is the aspiration of elders in the society, this is the aspiration of educationists, politicians, to enable our students to attain wonderful communication skills in order to go across the globe to pursue their career or for the purpose of employment. Hence, our government also rightly recognized the importance, and we started English medium classes in primary schools also. Now, that is why this communication is very, very important. This communication competence is very, very important, that is to be imparted in our students to enable them to develop international citizens. And before going to discuss about this, let us try to understand what are the qualities of good communication. What do you mean by effective communication skills? These are very important, dear student teachers. In our communication, our voice should be clear. That means it should be audible. We should follow some correct pronunciation, and it should be audible to people. And then again, we should maintain appropriate eye contact. While we are interacting, we should maintain eye contact, and also we should follow some non-verbal cues of the audience. What is meant by non-verbal cues? This is very, very important, dear student teachers. For example, you are in a classroom, while you are communicating, that means transacting your lesson, or while you are speaking with any person, you should observe some cues, that non-verbal cues from the listener or audience. For example, our communication is very impressive. You can see that cue, that means that their facial expressions and interesting expressions we can find, and we can understand that the students are receiving our communication very well. And in the same way, if our way of that information is not interesting on the part of the listener, at that time also they communicate through some non-verbal cues. With the help of those facial expressions, we should change our strategy of our communication, that we should change that, because the people are not showing interest, that we should change our way of speaking, that we call non-verbal cues. Then it should be concise, that means you should maintain brevity. You should maintain brevity, it should be simple, and we should maintain appropriate body language. Our body language is also very important, and that means appropriate hand gestures, good facial expressions. These constitute body language, especially in our communication. There should be smile on our face while we are communicating with others, and these are the important things. And also, you observe, we should follow some social etiquettes. That means we should follow some social etiquette. That means what is meant by social etiquette? We should follow some social norms. For example, we use language for different purposes. We interact with different people in the society. Sometimes we interact with children, sometimes we interact with elders, sometimes we interact with some other officials. At the time, we should follow some social norms. Those things also we should take care of, and we should follow them in our communication. And this is also one other that feature is active listener. A good communicator is always active listener. We should also listen from others, and our tone should be friendly, our movement should be friendly, and we should be flexible and open-mindedness. You know, flexibility, that means we should also think of others' point of view. Should not only would like to put forth our intentions on others. We should be in the position to understand others' point of view, and we should mold accordingly. That is flexibility and open-mindedness, and respect other views. These are some of the qualities we should possess to make our communication effective. Let us understand what's meant by communicative language teaching. Communicative language teaching, and what are its features? How can we make best use of these principles in our classroom to develop good communication skills in our students? Let's try to understand. The communicative approach to language teaching is based on the belief that acquiring a language means to communicate confidently and fluently in the language. That means we should in the position to attain communicative competence. That means we should be in the position to communicate our ideas to others. That is the main intention of language teaching. And observe, communicative competence is the desired goal. The ability to use the linguistic system effectively is also very important thing one should bear in mind. In this approach, it is believed that communicative functions are more important than linguistic structures. For example, you may have a lot of knowledge about the language. You may have good, wonderful linguistic knowledge, structures you may know, but along with that, using that communicative functions is also very, very important. And we should always provide real life experiences in the classrooms. Our classroom experience that we are going to impart or we are take up in our classrooms should be real life experiences. Those things we should provide. The language that a student uses in his day-to-day life should be taught in our classrooms. That means our classroom teaching should be linked to the day-to-day life of the student. Well, when learners are involved in real communication, their natural strategies for language acquisition will be used, and this will allow them to learn to use the language. Dear student teachers, you observe one thing here. While we are communicating, we use some language. Along with language, our body language is also very, very important. We use some strategies in order to make the listener to understand our communication. Those things also very, very important, and these things can be taught best by making our students to make use of the experiences that they come across in their day-to-day life. Those day-to-day life experience should be used and should be given to our students in the classroom. That is one of the concepts of communicative language teaching. And the aims to make learners to attain communicative competence so the learners can use language accurately and appropriately. And what is meant by communicative competence? This communicative competence involves two things. One is knowledge of language, knowledge of how to use the language. You may have knowledge of language, you may know about language, you may have a lot of grammar knowledge, you may have a lot of structural knowledge, but this is not enough. Along with this, how to use the language is also very important. Observe this. Can I borrow your book? This is one language usage structure to borrow book from others. That means we are requesting other person to borrow his book. For that we use, can I borrow your book? That is our question. Here you observe, we use can. This can is it shows our ability. We use it to show one's ability. We use can, but along with that, sometimes we use it for requesting also. Here, what is the response of the listener when he is agreeing, he say, certainly, okay, you can take my book. Or otherwise, of course, sure, you can take my book. This is in two ways we present this information. Sometimes this will be informal, sometimes it will be formal. What is by informal usage of language? At the time we use, can I borrow your book? We are often informal with family and friends. While we are interacting with our friends, with family, we use formal language. At the time we use, can I borrow your book? Sometimes we should be formal. Could I borrow your book? We are usually formal with everyone else, like sometimes we interact with the elders, sometimes we interact with officials. At that time we should be more formal. At that time we use, could I borrow your book? And this is the difference. This is informal way of using language and formal way of using language. These things we should teach to our students. When should we use formal language? When should we use informal language? All these things should be taught well in our classrooms to enable them to attain effective communication skills. And here we use certain structures, they perform language functions. You see, what is meant by language functions? Language functions refer to the purposes in which we use language to communicate. We use language for a variety of formal and informal purposes. We use specific grammatical structures and vocabulary with each language function. That means, here just you observed, that is one function, requesting is one function. Can you please give a pen? Could you please give a pen? That means, could you give your book? Would you mind giving me your book? In this way we use different varieties of language structures when we use in different contexts. That means, here language functions are certain structures. We use certain vocabulary, special vocabulary and certain structures in our day-to-day life purposes. For example, may I use your two-wheeler? May I come in, sir? Yes, you may. That will be the reply. This is one function, may, or using may, asking permission. May I use your motorbike? Yes, you may. That is giving permission, asking permission, giving permission. These are the things we use that the students should learn how to use in their day-to-day life. And these things we teach in our communicative language teaching. And you observe one other thing, socio-linguistic competence. What is meant by socio-linguistic competence? It refers to the ability to understand the appropriateness of the social context in which utterances are produced and exchanged. Here, based on the social context, we use language. One should use language according to the social context. We should bear in mind the social context also. For example, you observe here in this socio-linguistic competence that we come across social conventions, degree of intimacy and formality that is to be followed. For example, just we discussed, we use language for different purposes. We interact with various peoples. We don't use the same strategy while we are interacting with elders, while we are interacting with some officials, while we are interacting with children, while we are interacting with neighbors, while we are interacting with strangers. We use different types of strategies while we are interacting with this type of peoples. It may be body language, it may be the language we use. That is why these things are known as socio-linguistic competence. They come under socio-linguistic competence. The overall purpose of the utterance is also very important. and these things should be taught to our students in our communicative language teaching. Let us try to understand some principles of communicative language teaching. So, meaning is very important, dear student teachers. Students may speak English, here and there they may come across some problems, they may commit errors, do not worry about them. The students are in the position to convey them the meaning, that is enough. Later stages they can understand. This means CLT approach, meaning is given prime importance, that we should develop intrinsic motivation in our students, and really the students should feel the need of learning communication, language communication, the need of learning English, the need of learning English for my life, the need of learning English to understand a lot of information that is there in this world, the need of English for my employment. These things we should teach to our students. That means we should enable our students to understand the importance of learning English, the importance of learning this English communication. Then these things help our students to generate their intrinsic motivation. They should be intrinsically motivated, and then they start learning English very effectively. And these the care should be taken by the teacher to develop good motivation, intrinsic motivation in our students, to direct them to learn English. And here observe this: learners best learn language when they actually use it. This is one principle of communicative language teaching approach. So observe here, you give a task to your student, write a sentence using superlative adjective. You give this one task, write a sentence using superlative adjective. This is one task. Observe other task. Tell your partner about the most interesting person you know. See, which type of task will enable our students to attain language competence. That is why we do not give importance to teaching of grammar. We give importance to using language appropriately, accurately, according to the context, according to the need. That is why our activities, that tasks that we give to our students should be like this. They are related to their life, real life situations, real life tasks, real life that context should be generated in the classroom, and we should give practice to our students to attain wonderful communication skills. That is the main aim of communicative language teaching approach. Through this we can make our student to attain good skills, communicative skills. Say about your family, say something about you, say about your family, say about your school, say about your classroom. These things we should teach to our students. For example, you are in one restaurant. How do you order in a restaurant? What type of language you use there? These things we give practice in communicative language teaching, dear student teachers. See, here it believes that language can't be learnt through rote memorization. It can't be learnt in isolation also. It should be learnt through social interaction. See, for example, if you ask our students to read something and write in the examination, you ask our student to read a poem and write in the examination, it may not help our students to attain communicative competence. That rote memorization does not help our students to attain communicative competence. And here this also we can't learn, teach it also in isolation. There should be something to teach. We can't teach English in vacuum, because the language is related to our life. We should always use appropriate context, make it lively, link it to our day-to-day life. Then our students attain great interest to learn that. Here observe, you teacher provide some group discussions, give some problems, let our students interact with each other, let them come out with their intentions. And for example, you give some task to your students, dear student teachers, and here observe, you are in a railway station, you are in Secunderabad railway station, you would like to go to Khammam. How do you inquire about your train? What type of sentences do you use there? How do you inquire? Use language and let this type of that activities make use of this type of activities in the classrooms. You are in a bank. Your father would like to open one account. Go to bank and interact with the concerned person and obtain information. What are the documents that are required to open a passbook? That means open an account in the bank. Collect that information, come to class and say to your friends. And you observe here one real life situation that is there. You observe this video.
Welcome to the Transnational Hotel. What can I do for you?
Good morning. My name is Tom Sanders. I have a reservation for a single room for 3 nights.
All right, Mr. Sanders, let me pull up your reservation. I can't seem to find a record of your booking. Did you book the room directly through us, or do you use a hotel reservation service or a travel agent?
Well, I booked it directly through you. I've already also paid a deposit on the first night. I have a reservation number if that helps.
Yeah, sure. Can I see that, please? Thank you. Oh, I see. Maybe there was a glitch with the booking system. Well, we don't have any more single rooms available, with the exception of one adjoined room, but you would then be right next door to a family with children, which
see, just you watched a small video, dear student teachers. That is a real life situation. How to that conversation between a receptionist and a tourist. This type of activities can be taken up in our classrooms. And give some tasks like this, dear student teachers. We may give some tasks to students, and this authentic tasks, that means real life situations, we should provide to our students. Make students into groups. Assign one task to each group. Dear student teacher, dear students, attend a bank in your area. Then obtain some information how to apply for a loan. What are the requisite documents that are required by the bank authorities to apply for a loan? Because your father is a farmer, you would like to take that agriculture loan from a bank. Give this task to one group. Give other task to other people, one task to other group. Dear students, the group, that means you give this task to other group. You may divide this entire class into groups and give tasks, assign tasks to them. It may be 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, like that, based on their level, based on their interest, assign tasks to them. You give one task to other group, that is visit your post office near to your home, observe it, what are the various counters you find there, interact with the people who are there, obtain information and present it in the classroom. Then that group, they attend the post office and they observe various counters that are there in the post office. They make a note of that, and sometimes they interact with people, and the functions they perform will be elicited and they will be recorded by the students. They come back and explain to class. And sometimes in other group you may give meet farmers your neighborhood, interact with them, what is the crop they are growing in their fields, what are the fertilizers and pesticides that they are using in their crops, and what is the function, what is the use of those pesticides and fertilizers. Why do you use those fertilizers and pesticides? Collect that information, come back, say to your friends in the class. Give this type of task to your students, and the students they interact with people and they come back and present the information in the classroom. And sometimes interviewing. Give the one task to one group, interview your headmaster, prepare one questionnaire. Teacher may provide necessary help to them to prepare a questionnaire. Interview your headmaster. What are his intentions or aims to develop school? These things you should take down, interact with him, take down these things and come to class and present it. Interview your teachers like this. While you are interviewing your teachers, your focus point will be eliciting information about their childhood, school days. This information, in order to obtain this information, you generate one questionnaire, go to them, interact with them. Where did they study? What were their experiences? Those things record, come back and say to class. In the same way, elders, interact with elders, elicit information about environment during their when they were young and at present situation. Elicit information, neighbors, farmers. In this way, let our students interview people and obtain, collect information and come to class and present it in the classroom. And use some authentic material in the classroom. What is meant by authentic material, dear student teachers? This is a very, very important source to develop language skills in our students. You observe this.
We're going to do the food game again, right? What do you want? What do you have? Please look if a word has a, an, or nothing there, okay? So if it's an orange, a banana, or rice. Right, let's begin. Where is my black ball? Right here. Okay. What do you want?
I want cake.
You want cake. There you are. That's the next question.
What do you want? I want a milkshake.
Okay, let's go. Pick up your milkshake.
I want pizza. What do you want? I want a soda.
Give him a soda, Mangan. Thank you. Well done. A soda. Next question.
What do you want? I want a salad.
Good.
What do you want? I want
You want chicken. Give him the chicken, somebody. Thank you. Next question. What? One more time. What do you want?
I want ice cream.
Okay, give her the ice cream. Question, Rita?
What do you want? I want cookie.
Okay. Question. Question, Gracie?
What do you want? I want fish.
You want fish. Someone give her the fish. Well done. Question for EQ?
What do you want? I want a banana.
Excellent. Thank you. Question for gang?
What
What do you want?
do you want?
I want. Yes? Gang, what would you like? Okay, EQ, give him the sandwich. Question for far side, gang? He wants milk. Gang, someone give them milk. And question for Calhoun? Click how hum, what do you like? We've got bread, an orange, an egg, or rice.
Bread.
You want bread. Someone pass her the bread. Thank you. And ask me a question, please. What do you want?
What do you want?
I want rice. Please give me the rice. Excellent. Big clap, everybody. Well done. Everybody hold up your picture. Excellent. So, we have done I want. Now we are going to do, DJ, we are going to do I have. Repeat after me. I have.
I have.
And repeat after me. What do you have? What do you have? Okay. What do you have?
I have cake.
Go.
What do you have? I have a music. What do you have? I have pizza. What do you have? I have a soda. What do you have? I have a salad.
Student teachers, just you observed a small video how we can make use of different activities to develop a communicative competence in our students. And here you use some authentic material, dear student teachers, in the classroom. What are authentic materials? That means the material that are not produced to use in the classroom. Those things are known as authentic materials. Authentic material means we use some materials in the classroom. These materials are not produced to use in the classroom, but their purpose is different. But we bring that in material and make use of that material in the classroom. Use withdrawal form in the classroom. Ask them to fill it. Say the same thing to his friends. Give the task to one group, that how to fill withdrawal form. This is one activity we may take up. And here use some other authentic material. You may use some interesting material in the classroom. You may use technology in the classroom. You may use some what we call brochures in the classroom. You may use recipes in the classroom. You may use some advertisement in the classroom. You may use the newspapers in the classroom. All these things are not developed, generated to use in the classroom, but we use them in the classroom in order to develop language competency in our students. That means we use various things. We use how to fill one application, to open one bank account opening form, bring it to classroom, teach how to fill it to students according to their level. How to fill one money order form, how to subscribe for books, that is subscription form. These things, for example, brochures related to that one televisions or some other equipment, household equipment, brochures are available. These are no cost material. We need not pay anything. They are available, no cost, zero cost. These things we can make use in the classroom. Let our students understand these brochures, what is the information that is there. Let our students understand it, present it in the classroom. Let our students understand one TV, that advertisement brochure, what are the various things that are there, features that are mentioned in that. Let our students say to class. Yes, then the students that they start, that gives a great intrinsic motivation to them. Yes, in order to install a TV in my home, I have to read something. The information that is there is in English. The features of my new TV is to be understood only when I know English language. That is why that gives intrinsic motivation. Yes, this language is the English language, is not for examinations. That is there in everywhere. In medical, that in order to going to purchase a medicine, the information is that is there on that medicine is in English. You purchase something, how to prepare that recipe, how to prepare a cup of Bournvita, that recipe is there in English. That's why English is useful for my life. That type of intrinsic motivation we should generate in our students, and use some role plays. Role plays are very much helpful to our students to develop that communicative competence. Role play is any speaking activity when you put yourself into somebody else's shoes. That means in role plays students attain others' roles. For example, one person will attain the role of a booking clerk, one person will be a passenger in a railway station. One will act as one reservation clerk, one will act as a passenger. What will be the interaction between them? This thing we give practice to our students in the classroom. You are in a bus stand, you are inquiring about your bus. How do you inquire? You act as one student will act as a passenger, one will act as one inquiry clerk. Role play is any speaking activity when you put yourself into somebody else's shoes. That means they attain their roles. In this way we can generate English in our students. So very interesting, and also it is a sort of variety in the classroom. You attain the role of one reservation clerk, the students feel happy. Yes, it gives variety in the classroom, it gives enjoyment in the classroom. Students derive pleasure while they are involved in this type of activities. When there is pleasure, there will be learning. They derive enjoyment and they learn. And some information transfer activities. Show some information transfer activities. Show some pictures like this. Observe this picture. What do you understand by healthy eating? Say to class. Write it and say to class. This is one task. You may give other tasks to other the group. And you see this type of things you may use in the classroom. This one table is here. It shows pollution levels in Hyderabad. Read it and give information to class. Teacher may ask some questions, generate some questions, and students work on that and they present this to class. Here Richards and Rogers state that the target linguistic system will be learned best through the process of struggling to communicate. That means always we give tasks to our students just above their proficiency level, above their level. The task should be challenging. This just you observed some role plays, some authentic materials. It may be some that information transfer activities, some other activities, interviewing or obtaining information like this. These activities, while the teacher is assigning this type of activities to students, the teacher should bear in mind that those things should be according to the age, mental level, interest. Along with that, they should be challenging, just a little bit challenging. They should not be very easy. When the task is a sort of a challenging one, student struggles and he works well and he struggles to make out or to present or to involve or take up that activity. That means the activities should be some challenging tasks should be given in the classroom. The teacher is one what we call facilitator here. How to use the language in the context should be taught by the teacher very well. He should the teacher should prepare wonderful tasks to students, and teacher should bear in mind LAS, that means language acquisition supporting system. See, LASS, LAS means language acquisition supporting system, that is there in every person. That means that while we are interacting with the kids, we use a sort of language there. We present language slowly, a little bit slow, then because of that students they understand well. That means you give information or speak with students slowly, and the students attain understanding of that. And then while we are giving tasks, there will be some a little challenging, just above their level, and automatically, gradually and automatically they attain wonderful language skills, and use this type of things in the classroom. What just we discussed, what we call authentic material. You give level according to level of the students, give task. For example, 8th class, give 8th, 9th, how do you prepare a cup of Bournvita? Observe it, read that, understand that, present it in the classroom. In case of class, lower classes, let our students write it very neatly. It gives a wonderful, it gives a very good practice to develop their handwriting, and they are no cost. And in case of primary classes, use soap wrappers to students. What's your soap? Say something about your soap. What's its cost? Its weight, its cost, its company. Those things let our students say in the classroom. Class 1, class 2. Yes, this is my soap. My soap name is Rexona. The color of my soap is green. It gives a wonderful fragrance. In this way, use things in the classroom. Here, dear student teachers, see here, observe our classrooms. How should be our classrooms organization? This is conventional classroom. Here the interaction will be between bright students and teacher only, but you observe this here, our classroom should be like this. We should organize them into small groups, let our students share their ideas, give that cooperative skills, let them learn through collaboration and through cooperation, let them develop, give tasks according to their mental level, age, and this type of classroom is very convenient to make use of communicative language teaching activities in the classroom. Students can move freely in the classroom to interact with the different students, and our classroom should be like this. And dear student teachers, and you use some small groups, they are very much helpful, dear student teachers. Use small groups and give tasks. When we make some small groups and give tasks to students, simultaneously all the students work on language. They interact with each other. That is why you give group tasks, students interact with each other, simultaneously all the students involved in communication, it helps them to develop their language proficiency. These are very important concepts of language teaching, dear student teachers, in communicative language teaching approach. Dear student teachers, just you have understood about this approach. Take one lesson in any class and prepare some tasks that can be implemented in the classroom to develop communicative competency which are in connection with day-to-day life. Then you can understand, make use of them. Dear student teachers, I am very happy with you, and I wish you very good luck, and make use of these things, these information, these tasks in our classroom to help our students to attain international citizens, which is our aspiration. Thank you very much and wish you very good luck.